West Ham United are experiencing one of the most turbulent moments in their recent history, and the reports surrounding a possible sale of Lucas Paqueta have only heightened supporters' concerns. The club had already lost one of its brightest talents, Mohamed Kudus, who departed for Tottenham in a deal worth £55 million, a fee widely regarded as underwhelming, especially given the player's status as one of the squad's main assets. That transfer left the atmosphere fragile and the fan base skeptical about the board's true ambitions. Now, with the transfer window nearing its conclusion, speculation that Lucas Paqueta could also be put on the market feels almost like an affront to the loyalty of West Ham's estimated 4 million supporters worldwide. The Brazilian considered, the side's only truly creative midfielder would represent a huge loss. To part with two of their most influential players in such quick succession raises uncomfortable questions about the club's strategy. Are the decision makers genuinely prepared to weaken the squad further right when the season is demanding immediate answers on the pitch? The situation looks even worse when considering West Ham's recent recruitment record. Across 3 months of the transfer window, the club failed to secure significant midfield reinforcements. With just 8 days remaining, it seems unrealistic to expect solutions to materialize at the 11th hour. Any departure now would have a direct and damaging effect on the team's performances, as there would simply be no time to find suitable replacements. From a sporting perspective, keeping Lucas Paqueta makes perfect sense. The midfielder, who endured a difficult period due to the FA's lengthy investigation, has shown himself willing to remain in London. The club stood by him throughout that saga, strengthening the bond between player and institution. Now free from the threat of a lengthy suspension, the Brazilian is likely to increase in value over the next 12 months. To sell at this stage would mean forfeiting both his potential appreciation and his irreplaceable influence as West Ham's creative spark. Even so, reports indicate that West Ham are prepared to listen to serious offers with a price tag in the region of £60 million being touted. Yet that figure in isolation would offer little benefit if there were no opportunity to reinvest it before the window shuts. Raising money is meaningless if it cannot be swiftly converted into reinforcements capable of strengthening the squad. This inconsistency is what alarms supporters most. Lucas Paqueta has shown flashes of brilliance alongside moments of unpredictability. But his ability to unlock defenses and change the rhythm of a game is precisely what makes him indispensable. His goal against Chelsea, despite coming in the midst of a heavy defeat, was one of the few positives to emerge from that match. Losing a player of such caliber, especially when the squad already lacks creativity, would be regarded as a strategic blunder. Among fans, the overwhelming view is that selling Paqueta now would amount to abandoning the fight for meaningful objectives this season. With the transfer window about to close, any such move would be rushed and damaging. What supporters want to hear is straightforward. The player is not for sale, and the team will be built around him to compete properly. Anything else risks being seen as a sign of administrative weakness and a lack of sporting ambition. The board must therefore make its stance clear. If the priority is to remain competitive, Lucas Paqueta's departure cannot even be entertained. Otherwise, discontent and mistrust will continue to grow, creating an increasingly hostile atmosphere at the London Stadium. Keeping the Brazilian is not just about retaining a technical leader on the pitch, it is also about sending a symbolic message that West Ham will not simply cash in on their most valuable talents at the first opportunity. Graham Potter took charge of West Ham United in January 2025, but he already faces a daunting challenge in winning back the confidence of a deeply discontented fan base. The team has begun the new Premier League season in disastrous fashion after only 2 rounds they sit rock bottom of the table, having suffered a humiliating 5-1 home defeat against Chelsea, ironically, Potter's former club. This result has only deepened the gloom hanging over the London Stadium. Potter's track record at the helm does little to calm the nerves. Across 21 matches, he has managed only 5 wins. Such a modest return raises doubts over his longevity with the 50-year-old manager, already under mounting pressure to deliver immediate results or risk becoming the first managerial casualty of the campaign. The situation calls for swift and effective solutions, and the coach is banking on reinforcements to strengthen his squad and give him a fighting chance of turning things around. In the transfer market, West Ham have been active. Rumours suggest an interest in Raheem Sterling, who may leave Chelsea this summer. Alongside that, the Hammers have been pushing to bolster their midfield, a crucial area if they are to stage a recovery. One target is Songutu Magasa, the highly regarded youngster from AS Monaco for whom West Ham have already tabled a bid. However, Nottingham Forest appear to have stolen a march in the race, forcing Potter and his team to consider other options. Among those alternatives is Serbian midfielder Ivan Ilić of Torino. West Ham have submitted the same $17.5 million package. They offered for Magasa in the hope of persuading the Italian side to part ways with their 24-year-old talent. While there's no definitive word yet on whether Ilić would be open to a move to London, he stands out as a potentially more reliable choice than the Monaco prospect given his greater experience and consistency at senior level. The comparison between Ilić and Tomáš Soucek underlines why West Ham are so keen. The Czech midfielder, who attracted interest earlier in the window from the likes of Everton and Leeds United, has been indispensable since joining the club. He has made over 240 appearances for the Hammers, contributing not only his trademark defensive skill, but also 41 goals and 13 assists, an impressive return for a central midfielder. Retaining his services this summer was a significant boost, as losing him would have been a major blow, both technically and emotionally. For Potter, finding someone to complement Soucek, or at the very least provide a similar profile, is vital. Ivan Ilić seems to fit that mold. In his time in Serie A with Hellas Verona and now Torino, he has shown qualities that mirror the Czech international: a combative presence, strong physicality, and a knack for contributing in attack. Across 68 appearances for Torino, he has notched 7 goals and 6 assists, demonstrating his versatility and all-round influence. At Verona, in the 2021-22 season, Ilić's energy and determination stood out, averaging 4.5 duels won per match. That figure recalls Soucek's numbers in last season's Premier League, where he averaged 5 duels won per game across 30 appearances. The prospect of having both men anchoring the midfield is an enticing one, promising grip balance and greater support for forwards such as Niklas Füllkrug and Jared Bowen. Beyond the numbers, Ilić has also earned recognition from Football Analyst. Ben Madison has described him as a complete midfielder and stressed how underrated he is within European football. Such endorsements only strengthen the belief that his arrival could provide not just an immediate lift, but also a long-term cornerstone for West Ham's midfield. Tomáš Soucek, too, has been showered with praise. Former Hammers striker David Connolly once claimed back in 2021, that the Czech star possessed absolutely everything required of a modern midfielder. This public recognition puts Ilić in a favorable light. If he can replicate even part of Soucek's impact, he could well become Graham Potter's next midfield linchpin. West Ham United now find themselves in a period of rebuilding and anticipation. The retention of Tomáš Soucek provides some stability, but the club urgently needs fresh additions capable of lifting the overall level of the team. Graham Potter is fully aware that without reliable reinforcements, it will be extremely difficult to reverse the poor run of form that has overshadowed the opening weeks of the season. The Premier League calendar leaves little room for prolonged mistakes, and the pressure for results intensifies rapidly. In this context, Ivan Ilić emerges as a strategic target. His experience in Serie A, combined with his versatility and ability to perform multiple roles in midfield, makes him a candidate to be far more than just an emergency solution. His arrival could signal the start of a new style of play based on greater consistency in defensive transitions and a more composed build-up. This would give attacking players such as Niklas Füllkrug and Jared Bowen more support, potentially increasing the team's threat in the final third. Statistical comparisons between Ilić and Soucek help illustrate the potential of such a partnership. The Serbian midfielder has amassed 136 appearances in Italian football, starting over 100 of them with 9 goals and 10 assists to his name. Soucek, in contrast, has featured in 196 Premier League matches with 181 starts, contributing 36 goals and 9 assists. While the Czech international clearly offers more attacking output, Ilić's presence would help share that burden, providing West Ham with a more balanced midfield. Moreover, Ilić's youth, at just 24 years of age, leaves considerable room for further development. West Ham's board viewed this potential transfer not only as a short-term fix, but also as an investment in a player who can deliver immediately while still growing into the demands of English football. This is seen as crucial for a club that wishes not merely to stave off relegation, but also to re-establish itself in more comfortable mid-table positions. Another significant factor lies in the psychological impact that such a signing could have on both squad and supporters. The atmosphere at the London Stadium has been weighed down by frustration, and the arrival of a midfielder recognized for his tenacity and intensity could reignite optimism. For Graham Potter, this would mean more than a technical addition. It would represent a statement of intent from the club hierarchy, showing faith in his ability to rebuild and succeed. That said, the pressure on the manager remains unrelenting. With only 5 victories from 21 matches, he must quickly demonstrate progress. Reinforcements cannot be used as an excuse, but rather as part of a broader tactical reshaping that has to be evident on the pitch. The addition of Ivan Ilić, therefore, will only have a true impact if accompanied by structural changes in West Ham's style of play. Potter knows full well that the Premier League demands immediate responses. The competition does not forgive slow starts, and for a club already languishing at the bottom, after 2 matches, recovery must be swift. A midfield built on the strength of Soucek alongside Ilich could provide the fight and resilience so desperately needed, as well as the quality to supply attacking players more effectively. Without such changes, the future of both the manager and the club's top-flight status could be under serious threat. In summary, West Ham's situation is precarious but far from hopeless. The continued presence of Tomáš Soucek provides a solid foundation, while the potential signing of Ivan Ilić could inject both energy and quality. For Graham Potter, the challenge lies in turning these pieces into consistent results. The season is still in its infancy, but each match is becoming decisive in the fight to escape relegation and restore hope to a restless fan base.